This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68, and it reads, And Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rahakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Ayashar Barzar with the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone, coming back at you with another lesson that is edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. All right, coming up, I have a clip on regarding reparations being paid by the city of Evanston. It's just north of Chicago, Illinois, regarding reparations for the descendants of slaves, the Israelites, who lived in that area from 1919, I think from 1919 to 1959. The video will tell the story. However, I just want to, get back to this opening scripture. Jake, you're not going to see, reparations, at least righteously, from these people. It's not going to happen, and I'm going to prove that here. It says, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships." And we know the history. We did not enter ancient Egypt by ships. So this is talking about the future prophecy, which is now, okay? Egypt, meaning house of bondage, okay? That's where we currently are right now in America, all right? It's talking about America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, all right? Where we would be oppressed, okay? And you can get that in Jeremiah 50 and 33 as well. Judah and Israel oppressed together. They refused to let them go, all right? And it says so. And we came by ships, okay? That's all types of evidence, on the internet. It was not the imposters that's occupying the land right now. Not talking about the state of Israel that was created in 1948, okay, via the Balfour Declaration, all right? It's talking about the true Israelites. Like I said, your Israelite foreigners, also your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right here in the United States, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, all right? And he said, "Therefore, whereof where I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again." And that is a land, all right? You say you're the people, this curse is for all of Israel, okay? Where are the other 11 tribes at? Okay, where are the 12 gates? All right, why are you at war? According to prophecy. Why are the people mourning? According to prophecy. Okay, it says that when the people are in that land, they're going to be at rest. You're surely not at rest right now. Okay, and when I say that land, it's not the land that strip you're battling Gaza for right now. Okay, the land is the land according to Genesis 15, 18 through 21, from the great river of Egypt, which is the Nile, all the way to the Euphrates River, okay? And you don't have all of that land right now. However, you're in battle with the occupants of those areas outside the land that you're in right now, such as Iran, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, okay? Those are the people you're in battle with. That's all of the land, not that little strip you're on right now, okay? If you want to keep it 100. And all 12 tribes are not back, just like I said before, okay? And it says, "And there you shall be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen," all right? When were you ever slaves? Okay? We saw those pictures, of the fabrication that keeps changing. The one that happened in the 1940s during World War II under Adolf Schinkelgruber, which is his real name. you know, um, yeah. And at that time, was it that I do believe the 1939 census? Your numbers are a little off too. 1939 census said there was 2.9 million of you in Auschwitz. Yet you lost 6 million, and you have as many as you have today. After that, I'm sorry, y'all don't get on like that. Y'all, you don't have babies like that. You know, how did you have 2.9 million and lose twice as much as your population and then come back that quick? No, something's wrong with that. All right. And like I said, you'd be sold as bondmen and bondwomen. You know, you look up yokes of iron on the internet. Who pops up? The so-called Negro. Okay, not you guys. And then when you understand the how that oven worked, that you were supposed to be put in, um, that those bodies just that it's impossible for that amount of people to die in those type of ovens at that amount of heat. Okay, so that's that. All right. Then it goes on and says, and no man shall buy you, meaning no man shall redeem you. Okay, that contradicts what you're doing right now. You've been paid reparations by a couple of places that we know of, the three to be exact. That's on record. I'm sure there's more. You're getting it elsewhere, but I'm going to cover three of them. Okay, and that word buy goes into the Hebrew word chana. Okay, chana, and it means to redeem. Okay. If according to the scriptures, the Lord is redeeming you. You should be at peace. You know, everyone should be coming to you to learn the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, according to Isaiah chapter 2. There should be no more war, according to Isaiah chapter 2. You are at war right now with everybody over there. So this prophecy right here proves that you are not the people. All right. So with that explained, I'm gonna go ahead and get to this clip. But before I do that, I'm going to declare the fair use doctrine. All right. And it reads, fair use is a doctrine in United States law that permits limited use of copyrighted material without having first to acquire permission from the copyright holder. Section 107 of the Copyright Act provides the statutory framework for determining whether something is a fair use and identifies certain types of uses, such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, as examples of activities that may qualify as fair use. In the doctrine of fair use, the law permits limited use of copyrighted material without a sanction from the copyright owner. It provides the limitations to copyright to balance the interests of the copyright owner and the public distribution. It is otherwise considered an infringement of copyright. All right, so here we go.
A Chicago suburb is facing a lawsuit for paying out reparations to its black residents. Evanston, Illinois became the first municipality in the U.S. to launch a government-funded reparations program. But a conservative group has filed a class action lawsuit claiming the program discriminates against non-black residents. For more on this, let's bring in Emmanuel Felton. He's a race and ethnicity reporter for the Washington Post who has been covering this story. What are the grounds for this lawsuit?
Yeah, so the conservative group Judicial Watch argues that this program discriminates against non-black residents of Evanston. So under Evanston's reparations program, if you lived in the city between 1919 and 1969, or you're the descendant of someone who did, and you're black, you qualify for reparations, because the argument is during those 50 years, Evanston instituted a bunch of racist, segregationist housing policies that deprive wealth from the black residents of town. So they're saying this is our effort to rebuild the wealth that we deprived from you. Whereas Judicial Watch says you haven't proved exactly who was harmed by these policies. And so by opening it up to all Black residents, you're discriminating against non-Black residents. And this is really part of a larger wave of conservative challenges against programs that came up after George Floyd's murder, right? So we're seeing with the last year's Supreme Court decision in the affirmative action case, that the courts are very weary of these programs that give benefits to certain ethnic groups, and that's sort of having a clash with all of these programs, both in the government and in private sector. Like just recently this week, a program that was going to give Black women in Georgia who were starting businesses grants was struck down by an appellate court. So there's sort of a clash here between, how do we fix our age-old problems of racial discrimination in a way that really satisfies a federal judiciary that's really only interested in race-blind policy.
Do you think the city will fight this all the way? I mean, what are they vowing to do?
That's what they're saying. They refuse to comment for the story, citing pending litigation, but they're saying they vehemently support this program. And they're looking to fight it all the way up. And, it's a program that they're very proud of. Evanston is very proud of being the first in the nation to institute something like this. But when you're the first, you open yourself up to challenges that, hopefully, if you're the second or third, you've learned from what didn't work for the first.
The people are at the center of this, who would be the recipients of reparations. What are they telling you about this legal fight?
Yeah, well, it's already happened. So Evanston's already paid nearly 200 people $25,000 each. So this is something that is already changing lives in Evanston. The question is, for all the people who were, so essentially how it worked is they pulled like bingo balls, and so if you were later in the poll, you were later in the wait list. So there's still hundreds of people on this wait list. And the question is, what it will mean for them. It's already changed, from the people I've talked to. It's already, I don't know if it's 25,000 has changed their lives as much as it felt like a significant acknowledgement to them of the harm that was really caused here and across the country by housing policy for 50 years that, really deprived Black folks for the ability to build wealth in the same way that white folks were able to with programs like the GI Bill and such.
I got to be real quick with you on this, but do you think other communities are watching what happens here before they institute one of their own reparations programs?
Absolutely. This is something that it's already happening across the country. There are already people trying to institute these programs, and they're going to look to Evanston to see, well, here, what will the courts say here? I mean, we know in California, for instance, they tried to craft a class as they discussed the reparations program that wasn't necessarily race-based, but based on the fact that you were the descendant of a slave or a person who was enslaved in the United States. And so maybe the court will be more friendly on something like that. We just don't know yet.
Okay. Emmanuel Felton, thank you so much for coming on and talking about your reporting.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Well, we know that conservative group was most likely Esau, without a doubt. They really hate for Jake to get ahead. Really hate for them to have government benefits the same way that they do. We know that with healthcare. Someone did a study, and they said that they didn't want universal healthcare because Jake would abuse it. And that's not the case because most Jake hate going to the doctor. All right, at least the men, because we don't trust them. We know their past history. All right, we'd rather do it naturally than have to go see that doctor. All right, but yeah, you want to talk about and here again, they never want Jake to have something by himself. However, reparations was paid to these other groups without them ever having to prove who they were. The government just paid it. All right, they just paid it. Now I know, Evanston is a micro. It's not the entire state, or not the United States government, but still, it's part of the United States, and it is its own government, but just it's just crazy, how they have to prove. But here you go. In 1990, the USA paid the Japanese American $1.6 billion or $20,000 each. Okay. 1990, Austria $25 million to the Holocaust survivors. Okay, and they didn't have anything to do with it. How about that? All right. 1988, Canada, 250 square miles of land to the Indian and the Eskimos. 1988, Canada, 230 million to Japanese Canadians. Okay, don't have hear anything about these people having to prove who they are. They just paid it. 1986, USA, 32 million for the Ottawas in Michigan, based on the 1839 treaty. Okay, 1985, 31 million to the Chippewas of Wisconsin. 1985, 12.3 million to the Seminoles of Florida. 1985, 105 million to the Sioux of South Dakota. 1980, 81 million to the Klamaths of Oregon. 1971, the USA, $1 billion plus 44 million acres of land to the Alaska Natives Land Settlement. Okay. 1952, Germany, 822 million to the Holocaust of survivors, German Jewish settlement. All right. And then 1865 to the present, zero for the so-called Negroes or African Americans, who was, tribe of Judah, primarily. Okay, tribe of Judah, $0, $0. Okay, like I said, that was two who paid the 1948ers. Two of them. Who's the third? It's the U.S. Oh, but let me get to this first. If, let's say, for example, if the U.S. had have paid $25,000 in 1865, what would it be worth right now? Okay, this is this inflation calculator that I came across. So $25,000 in 1865 is worth $480,901.84. All right. Jake would be all right today, but we know, according to the curses, it's not going to happen. All right. It says the value of $25,000 from 1865 to 2024 is equivalent to the purchasing power of $480,901.84. Okay. An increase of $455,901.84 over 159 years. It says the dollar had an average inflation rate of 1.88% per year between 1865 and today, producing a cumulative price increase of 1,823.61%. All right, and this means that today's prices are 19.24 times as high as average prices in 1865, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index. A dollar today only buys 5.199% of what it could buy back then, man. Okay. And the inflation rate in 1865 was 3.82%. The current inflation rate compared to the end of last year is now 3.36%. If this holds, $25,000 today will be equivalent in buying power to $25,839.34 next year. The current inflation rate pages give more detail on the latest inflation rates, and I could put a link to this site in description box. But just goes to show you, had Jake had some settlement like with that 40 acres and a mule back then, could be off right now. But we know, according to the curses, that wasn't the case. We would always be in want. All right. Even when we didn't get that 40 acres and a mule, all the communities we built, Esau found a way to destroy them, at the hands of, and when we have this series called For Thy Violence Against Thy Brother Jacob going on, and at the root cause of every atrocity against Jake. It's that so-called white woman and the U.S. government at the root of all of it. Okay, the stuff that happened to Jake. Especially Judah. With the natives, it was always the government. All right, but yeah, they always had a hand in it. All right, and like I said, the third group that paid the 1948ers. Look at this. It says since uh, the state of Israel's founding in 1948, it has received 158 billion in military aid from the United States, making it the greatest recipient in history. The United States had no involvement in that situation involving Adolf Schenkelgruber. None whatsoever. So why are we paying them? Or why are they paying them? I mean, I say we because it's my tax dollars too, but why are they being paid? Then it says, just you can scroll down and it has other questions. How much has the U.S. given to Israel? And it says, how much U.S. aid does Israel receive? It says Israel has been the largest cumulative recipient of U.S. foreign aid since its founding, which is 1948. Okay, the state of Israel, because we know it's not talking about Israel because Israel's a people before it's a place. All right, all right, and it says going back, Israel has been the largest cumulative recipient of U.S. foreign aid since its founding, receiving $310 billion, and that's adjusted for inflation, in total economic and military assistance. And that was just reported at the end of last month, May 31st. All right. So, yeah, yeah. That number, going back to that number for Jake, yeah, you're not going to see this. And that $25,000 that they gave so many people so far, you know, that'll probably count as income. They're going to tax the shit out of it too. All right, you can't trust this devil. All right, you cannot trust them. But going back, these people, now that they saw that Jake was benefiting and called for discrimination, they're using the law to their advantage. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, and in verse 10. And it says, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. All right. So, like it says, it's talking about the people that were born there between 1919 in Evanston up to 1959, I believe he said. All right. But, they're not going to spare it. They don't, they're claiming discrimination because of that payment to all blacks, and or Israelites, the so-called blacks. They claim discrimination. How can you claim discrimination when it's a fact? We know some of us were over here, before you got here, but was subject to the pain and atrocities that you put, those who came over on the ships, you know, under the same atrocities. All right, you that's the thing. If you have Esau always has a problem, with Jake, having some sort of success, even though this is not success. All right, verse 11, it says, "Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth." And here again, using that justice system to intervene and cause a lawsuit to stop that when you were not at all a part of that situation. All right, it's like, how in the hell are you complaining? You got all the privileges in the world. Everything was made available to you. Everything. You're a fucking two-time loser, especially you low-level Edomites. Amalek, the show called You Wish, you know, we've been telling y'all the whole time, you know, that they've been fucking us over. They've been fucking you over too, you know, and now you're mad. But that's, you know, that's cool because we know those who are in this truth know without a doubt that this is not true reparations. All right, we don't trust you, as a lot of Jake does. 2/3 of Jake does. All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, beginning at verse 1, and it reads, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin." All right, taking counsel from Esau, Edom. All right, they what kind of math did they come up with to give, you know, just $25,000? Most likely it's taxable income too. You know, what kind of math did they come up with? That's a lot of time to have so little. And you know, we know as of today, you know that that's not going to mean nothing if should you know, Saudi Arabia not renew that trading their oil in the petrodollar. You know, you'd be able to wipe your ass with that money. You know, as toilet paper. Use it as toilet paper. No, it ain't. It ain't gonna happen. That's not the right reparations. Okay. Okay. We know what it is. You know, you in righteousness. You know, what does Colossians 3:25 say? You know, he that doeth wrong must receive for the wrong which he had done. There's no respect of person. So yeah, what you did to us, we're gonna do to you, but in righteousness. You know, says the same thing in Numbers 35 and 33. Ezekiel, you know, 35 verse 5 and 6. All right, yeah, you shed a lot of blood in this land, and the only way to resolve it is, you know, to shed yours, point blank, period. You know, no amount of money is going to cover what you did. All right. So yeah, you know, like the Lord said, you know, this is our Jake who is listening to them. You know, you believe he's going to help you out. When I just showed you a chart that, you know, ain't nothing been done since 1865. You think I'm do it now? Look at how much money they done sent to Ukraine and the state of Israel. By the way, which indeed are the same people. You know, no doubt. They're the same Amalekites. Okay, you had the Balfour Declaration in 1948, where they came into the land, and then as a guy mentioned in the video about George Floyd, while that was going on in 2020, you had an article written by the Christian Bible News Network in June of that time, stating that you know that the Ukrainian Jews return home to fulfill the prophecies of Jeremiah and Isaiah. All right, that's what they said. You know, you can look that up. I did a video on it a while back. All right, so yeah, you're not listening to the Lord. You know, you're not coming back to Him. You putting your trust in man. You know, Jeremiah 17 and 5. You know, says, let me just go ahead and get that. I'm gonna come back to this. Jeremiah 17 and 5. And it reads, "Thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord." Okay? And that making flesh his arm, you know, that's your strength. Okay? Your arm always represents your strength. All right? And whose heart, or whose mind, heart going into the Hebrew word lob, departed from the Lord. Okay? This is exactly what is happening back in Isaiah chapter 30. All right? Let me get back to that. Verse 2. I'll start at verse 1 again so we can keep the flow. Woe, meaning destruction, to the rebellious children of Israel, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that take counsel, but not of me, and that are covering with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Verse 2, that go to, that Salakia, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Okay, and Pharaoh, modern day Pharaoh today, is Esau Edom. You get that comparison in Romans 9. All right, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. What is a shadow? Darkness. You know, no light. You know, that's how you add in that sin to sin. And who is a modern day Egypt? The United States, also known as Babylon, Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon. All right, yeah. You know, you're not coming back to the Lord. You trusting in Esau Edom. All right. Verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt be your confusion. You keep on trusting Esau Edom, you know, he's going to burn you. He is going to burn you. The scriptures tell us to never trust our enemy, okay? Never. All right, let me get that in the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach. It's in the Apocrypha, chapter 12 and verse 10. And it reads, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. All right, so that's let you know. You know, it says, for like as iron is guaranteed to rust. It is guaranteed to rust. All right. So it's telling you this Esau Edom is guaranteed to be wicked. All right. Verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. All right. What causes that iron to rust? Oxygen. Okay. So as long as this son of a bitch is breathing, you don't trust him. But Jake just sees that, you know, a little bit of the bag, you know, they're getting some sort of relief. You know, it's not going anywhere. All right. The true relief is just coming back to, coming back into our power, getting those new bodies, and them being in servitude to us. All right. That's what it is. All right. So let me get the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. And beginning at verse 1. And it reads, for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. All right, that's a cut. The Balfour Declaration put you all back in 1948. You know, it says the Lord is supposed to put his people back. And then airplane flew you in 2020 while the riots were going on. All right, come on now. You are not the people. All right. Back at the top. For Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. And those strangers are, you know, the Israelites that were scattered to the utter ends of the earth. Okay, according to Deuteronomy 28 and 64. To the ends of the earth they were scattered, you know. The strangers, the ones estranged from the commonwealth of Israel, okay? Israel, the true Israel, okay? That commonwealth being citizenship, okay? That's according to Ephesians chapter 2, verses 11 and 12, all right? All right, verse 2, Isaiah 14. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for servants and handmaids. Okay? Y'all don't have any servants and handmaids right now. You know, you didn't bring anybody over there at the behest of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. You're not the people once again. All right. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. You ruling over the United States, you know, and most of the earth, but you have no one in captivity. You're trying to do it with this MOTB, but as soon as that kicks off with World War III going on, that's when the Lord's gonna make his entrance. Put a stop to your ass. You're not the people. All right. But yeah, this is just and it says, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So this is the true reparations, Jake. Not that little bitty shit, them pennies they throwing at y'all up in Evanston, Illinois. All right. And it says, and it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Okay. What hard bondage are you in right now? You're definitely not at rest right now. We can see that all over the airwaves. Okay? It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. All right. So Jake, once again, this is the true reparations. All right. There was one other thing I needed to get that I had pulled up too. Oh yeah, going back to Evanston right quick. All right. Now you may want to be careful. Now there's a House resolution on the floor right now. House resolution number 4321, and it's right there, Congress.gov, and it says, "What is the HR 4321 No Bailouts Reparations Act?" All right, and it says to prohibit the United States government from providing bailouts or other financial assistance to any state or local governments that enacts any law providing reparations for slavery and for other purposes. Okay, that was June of last year. Now, here's the issue, Evanston, Illinois. You're on record for that right now. All right. And when you go into more detail with this resolution, if you notice on that map in that video, Evanston is located like right next to Lake Michigan. You know, should there be any weather travesty or tragedy up in that area, you have this on the books that you put this there. It says the federal government, if it whatever damage that it does, like say a tsunami for whatever reason, hits that area, you're not going to get any federal aid because you have this on the books. That's why I think that whole lawsuit from that conservative group, like I said, and most likely a group of Edomites, is going to go through. It's going to stop it. It's only what 200 people out of how many Jakes up in that area that you've given $25,000 to. Yeah, that's going to backfire one way or the other. All right, but yeah, but here again, going back to that Isaiah 14, you know, you, yeah, you're gonna pay that stuff back. We're gonna get true reparations back, and it's not this bullshit that y'all doing up in Evanston or you try to do in California. Now you got to prove who you are, prove that you were descendants. You didn't have those other nations of people prove that stuff. Certainly not the people that you're giving money to now. You know, United States is writing a blind check over to the state of Israel. All right. So yeah, you're gonna give it all up, just like Job says. This is the book of Job, chapter 20 and 15, and it reads, "He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai shall cast them out of his belly." You gonna give back everything you took and then some. All right. No ifs, ands, buts about it. You, like I said, you're gonna vomit it up. It's gonna be some pain with that, a whole lot of stress with it, you know. But it's going to be given back. No ifs, ands, buts about it. And I'll close out with this, the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10 and verse 8. And it reads, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And you are guilty of those unrighteous dealings, injuries, as well as death, and riches gotten by deceit. Your usury, your way of usury, amongst Jake, and all of this country for the most part, but mostly Jake. All right. It says the kingdom is translated from one people to another. All right. And as 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. All right. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying for the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like it to the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom, Kwam Yasharala. Shalom. We got next. You ain't getting no reparations, Jake. Not like it should be. True reparations is the kingdom. All right. Shalom.